बहुत कुछ होने में। इतना सा फर्क है एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में कि अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन की कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है, वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी, ये एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानपुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और 7वें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया, 20 years of ideas.
A very good afternoon to all the dear friends. With a great hope that everybody is safe and sound, we all welcome you for our special webinar, Business Opportunity Over Chai. This is a digital representation of the business opportunity which we have got for you. It's a 45-minute session which will start with a presentation from our brand site where they will take us through the entire business model, what they are offering in market. Then we'll move towards a panel discussion. So we request all of you to share maximum queries with us. It is our everyday aim to provide maximum business opportunities, franchise solutions to all potential business buyer through our physical and digital show, so that you take a right and a conscious decision of selecting the right franchise for yourself. We welcome management team of Franchise India, Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am for this webinar. Both of them are hosting this webinar. The business opportunity which we have got for you is country's best flavored dessert brand. It's a live making popsicle concept introduced in India. And today we have invited the team of Scuzo to talk about their brand. We have invited founder Mr. Gagan Anand and Chief Executive Officer Mr. Subrato Goi for this particular webinar. Thank you so much, Gagan. Thank you so much, Mr. Subrato, for joining in today. But formally, I invite you to talk about this brand. I would like to request my colleague Kanika to play a beautiful video on your brand.
Thank you, Archana.
Thank you so much, Kanika. Now I invite Gagan and Subratajo, if you can share your screen so that we formally start introducing the brand to all our investors.
Thanks, Archana. Definitely. So first of all, I would like to welcome you all, for joining this webinar, where we came up with this whole, new concept of making, live popsicle concept for the first time in country. So I'll just share, exactly my experience, how I have come up with this idea exactly, so whole idea came behind this. I'm very much fond of sweets, basically. Yeah. So going forward, I thought like, that since I have spent almost my 17, 18 years into F&B industry, so I thought, let's come up with some idea where we can make something different. As I see, there are a lot of, dessert, brands are there, ice cream brands are there, they're doing the market. So how can we make it, something different from them, basically? So since since childhood, I was very fond of popsicles, so I thought, why can't we make something where we can make a live popsicle in front of consumers, basically? So we can come up with a lot of ideas, because where, basically it used to be called as ice candies. And in Indian market, if you will see, basically during our childhood time, the popsicle was, very, people were very fond of popsicles. But right now, somehow the tradition was, we were, losing this tradition, having popsicle instead of, there are a lot of other ice cream they were eating. So we came up with an idea, whole idea, so during this COVID time, we structured, the entire idea that let us make a new, invent a new equipment where we can make a live popsicles. So the whole idea came behind that, because having my idea of having kulfi or, popsicles every day from somewhere outside. So this idea I put up across, at one place, and then we introduced this, Scuzo thing. So we made a very nice equipment, and then we asked our, factory team also to design, each and everything in this, basically. So the whole the popsicle making machine we came up with. So again, the moment when I introduced this, basically, that only by keeping popsicle we won't be able to make a, sustainable business. So we thought to make it like, as a complete dessert parlor, since somebody wants to have dessert while they are going after, after their dinner, or during daytime, or anytime whenever they feel, they have a craving to have some desserts. So they want a multiple options, multiple choice of options. So since like everybody is going through some healthy options, fresh options, and sort of all the ideas, so we thought to come up with a parlor where we can, under one roof, we can have a multiple options of desserts, basically. So our USP is basically popsicle. Popsicle is one of it, but we never kept ourselves just limited to popsicles. We introduced many different varieties of gelatos, milkshakes, pancakes, basic waffles. I mean, multiple options of desserts, basically. So this is basically, a sweet tooth store, basically. Somebody has a sweet tooth that wants to have a complete dessert option. So under one roof, they can have a multiple dessert options, basically. So that's the Scuzo, the whole idea of Scuzo came around, basically. Yeah. So I'll, so Badal sir, can you just go ahead with it?
Yes. Thank you everyone for joining, and I hope all are keeping well during this unprecedented times. And thank you, Gagan, for letting me brush through the whole brand. Okay, as Gagan has already briefed what was the idea behind getting this concept, and what are the USP. I'll just go into a little bit more detail into it and let you know. First, Scuzo means expertise, and of course, Gagan and his team and the team which we have currently are an expert in this. And the best part about the whole brand is, as during pandemic, most of the people had taken a back step in the whole F&B business. We were one of those who has taken a step ahead, trying to bring a brand and F&B concept ahead in the market, considering the opportunity in the market, which is one, of course, the financial aspect of it, where with a very low investment, we can create a concept which can lucrate the investors. Number two, of course, you have to make money. So the return on investment on this whole concept is very less. Okay, about a year and a half, you can get it. And third, of course, the product, which will actually bring in the consumers. Most of the time, we haven't seen anything live in terms of you talk of gelato or popsicles, in fact, in the ice cream business as well. This is where we cut an edge, when we compare with the other brands, that, creating something live in front of the consumers. So as you know, the name Scuzo means it's an expertise, and we are having expertise in the dessert products, which is a wide range. As Gagan said, it could be gelato, sorbet. We have also included, pancake waffles into this, keeping the seasonal based desserts. So we want it to be a product which can be enjoyed throughout the year, and that is what is the objective. So Scuzo Ice O Magic, which we generally put a punchline to it, is the modern dessert parlor, started from its flagship store in Netaji Subhas Place, New Delhi, with wide range of national and international flavors. We always have some flavors in common, like you have vanilla, chocolate, mango, and all those, but we try to be different. Okay, and people nowadays, with the current generation, they want to explore into different flavors, different type of desserts, and that is what we try to target. Okay, first let me just brief you why gelato. Why did we go into gelato? Because when you go in the market, you see there are a lot of brands which has come in the market, but they probably may not be doing well. But I feel they are not doing well. It's not just because it is not accepted, but also the USP which you have, and there has to be a constant innovation in the whole process, which we are trying to do. So if you visit Scuzo outlet, then you will see it's not only just popsicle, but we also have tubs, we also have shakes in glasses, we are giving hot desserts, everything. So the gelato market in India, according to the recent markets research, which is done by Italian Gelato Info, 2016 revenues generated by the gelato industry in India amounted to $1.5 billion, which is about 11,260 crores in Indian rupees. And the forecast for 2021 is a figure of about $3.4 billion, which is a little more than half of what is in 2016, out of which, obviously 2 years has gone through, you can minus 2 years, which has been the, period of COVID-19. So India frozen dessert market is projected to grow at a CAGR of over 19% by 2023. Now, why Scuzo? Scuzo is India's first dessert parlor having a unique concept of making your favorite popsicles live as per your own choice. So you choose your flavors, you choose your product, and we make it for you. So apart from it, we also have a variety of premium products like gelato, sorbet, ice cream, milkshake, sundaes, waffles, with national and international range of dessert options. The investment size is engineered, keeping every aspect of business in life. Minimum investment means early returns, and that is what is our objective. It is a very early stage. We have gained the trust of our franchisees, and they are the one who has become our business ambassadors. There are many such growth stories which you can hear from our business partners, even from us. When we started this, which was in 2020, we were thinking, oh, the pandemic has come. How is it going to happen? But recently, we had about 4-5 stores, and now the amount of invitations we get to invest in this concept, makes us feel confident. And we are 100% sure that, we will grow in multiple numbers in just few months or probably this year. Our target is about 35-40 outlets in 1 year to grow. Okay, so our brand USP is we use natural fruit, no added color and preservatives. It's a one-stop dessert solution, and it's 100% vegetarian. Okay, now what is gelato and ice cream? What's the difference between gelato and ice cream? Gelato is, of course, I'm sure most of you all must have tasted gelato, because once upon a time that was a trend which was, when it entered India, it was a trend where people wanted to shift from ice cream to gelato. One is, the most important thing is gelato is much more healthier than ice cream because of its fats content, okay? Because, the consistency of the product, it remains for longer time. So gelato is creamier, smoother, and silkier, whereas ice cream is less creamy, more buttery, fluffy, and light product. Gelato is much silkier in texture, denser, and more elastic and fluid. Ice cream is less dense due to ice crystals and air. So of course, the taste also differs because of this texture of the ice cream and gelato. Gelato contains 15 to 20% air during chumming hours. Ice cream contains only 70% to 90% air in it. Okay, and that is how the density and the thickness of gelato is created. Gelato usually have 4 to 5% fat, whereas ice cream has 10 to 12% fat. This means gelato is more healthier. Gelato typically contains fewer calories, less sugar than ice cream, where ice cream contains higher calories and sugar. Gelato contains 90 calories per serving, whereas ice cream contains 125 plus calories per serving. Okay, so this is the difference between gelato and ice cream. Next slide.
I'll just jump into this basically. Sir,
Please.
So what was happening in the reason behind keeping this slide was the only thing is like, while talking to multiple franchise, well, because while going to, when I was just thinking to start this concept, there was a lot of such questions was coming in the mind that people were thinking, why gelato is expensive? Because since everybody like at current in India, like mostly people think like, because since we started our first store in Netaji Subhash place, so that is such location where we always get a mixed crowd, So I mean, if I'll say almost 50-60% people, they are not aware exactly the difference between ice cream, because that is basically a business hub where I see, there are multiple options of brands who sells ice cream basically are there basically. So mostly the people who was coming, they were just thinking why gelato is expensive. They were having a multiple questions about it. So the reason behind keeping this slide was I wanted to make them understand why, because ice cream is something which is again like since beginning actually when I used to eat ice cream during winters basically. So my mom used to stop me, ki don't ice cream nahi khana hai, gala kharab ho jayega, I mean, it was kind of a mindset, everybody. Whereas I see personally today, because in my last, while doing some survey, sort of survey in India, Srinagar sells the highest ice cream in India, basically. Now, Srinagar is such a cold place, basically. Now, in spite of being cold, they are selling they last year, in fact, they were their ice cream sale was somewhere around almost 39 crores in Srinagar city itself. I'm talking about overall. So why I'm saying is because people who has a mindset, different, they don't know exactly the difference between gelato and ice cream. So I just kept this in the mind because gelato is something which is a healthier option, which will not relate to you, being sick or something like this. So in gelato, we do have a lot of things, which is basically there is 100% cream based product basically, which will not relate your, throat to throat congestion will be not there or anything like this. So healthy when we'll talk about now talking about fat percentage in it, right? So that's why we kept at the fat percent also, because normally our people ask it what is the difference exactly. So gelato has a less fat as compared to anything, the ice cream basically. So that's the only reason that I wanted to make you guys understand exactly why I kept this slide over there, so that people will understand the difference between gelato and ice cream, right? So if let's say in 1 kg of milk I'm making ice cream, I'll be making almost 2 kg of ice cream, whereas if I'll be making gelato in 1 kg, I'll make hardly 1.1 kg or 1.2 kg maximum, like that. So it has more of the product instead of keeping air in it. Okay, so that's the difference, the major difference between gelato and ice cream basically. Yeah, please.
Right. Okay, coming to the business model, we have captured across all the formats, which is the dining, delivery, and takeaway. But yes, the format has been captured in such a way so that the investors get the advantage of it, where we primarily focus on the low rental. So depending on the rental plus the size availability from 80 to 350 square feet, we can create a joint for this brand. It's a very low investment projects. It gives you a higher margin, lower food cost, and return on investment in less than 1.5 years, where you achieve the break even also as early, compared to other F&B concepts. Okay, so the estimated investment total we expect from 12.8 to 16.5 lakhs in Indian rupees. Okay, where the franchisee fee has about 4 lakhs in both the kiosk as well as the standard parlor. The designing and layout fee is 30,000 in a kiosk and 50,000 in a standard parlor. The shop interior and fit outs, depending again on the size, it varies from 3 lakhs to 4.2 lakhs. And the equipments is 5.1 lakh to 7.2 lakh. Again, it varies from a kiosk as it goes up to the standard parlor model, which is a bigger size restaurant. And the signages and fixtures is again 40 to 60 lakhs. So this is the whole investment. And of course, you know, nowadays, anybody would like to invest about till 25 lakhs. I think anybody who wants to venture into the F&B business, everybody looks at about 25 lakhs. We are almost half of 25 lakhs for the investment. Gagan, you want to add anything to this?
So going forward with the previous slide, I would suggest, because the reason behind, because ice cream, I mean the dessert, when I talk about dessert, something, you know, people, dessert is like famous everywhere. If I see, basically, if you go to highways or if you go to, you know, high streets, if you go to malls, I mean, you can see dessert parlor option is everywhere, right? So now going forward, the reason behind keeping a kiosk and a standard parlor, the difference is, you know, there are a slight difference between the kiosk and standard parlor when I'll talk about menu and all those, right? The kiosk we have made in a certain ways where you can go, you know, you can shift yourself into anywhere, whether it's a mall atrium, whether it's in a highways, because you must have seen there are a lot of, you know, good restaurants there in the highways who are already there, and they're having small sort of, you know, kiosk parlors are there. So we have made the kiosk in that way, and then there is an option of a shop in shop as well, because recently we started one store that was under basically a sweet shop. It was doing absolutely fantastic. That was a smaller kiosk option. Yeah. So I mean, that is the kiosk is ideal location for that particular places. Whereas in high streets, if I'll go with the high street, you must have seen the video in initial video, the store which you see basically, that is an option of a standard parlor. Okay, the standard parlor contains our full menu, which includes your complete whether it's wafers, pancakes, everything into it basically. So we ideally keep the area which is basically 150 to 200 for the standard parlor, and that is a very suitable location for basically high street. So ideally, those people who wants to invest into basically this gelato parlor, Scuzo Ice O Magic, they can have an option if they have a place we do have multiple locations available right now with us for a standard parlor as well as the kiosk also. Yeah. So going forward with the estimated investment, which I say basically when I'll talk about as per the menu, the equipments are kept basically. Now in kiosk, there is almost 70% menu is there, whereas in standard parlor, the 100% menu is there. So because of that reason only, the equipment size has gone, equipment price has gone higher. And then as I said, shop interior fit out, that also depends basically into your size of the store. Whereas like if you'll see basically the area which is required for the kiosk is 80 to 120 square feet. So the investment is lesser as compared to standard parlor. There's 150 to 200. So the investment is higher into that. So that's basically the whole model is all about. Yeah. So going forward with this, the ideal location. So please.
Yeah. So the ideal location as we are looking, so this format basically fits in everywhere. I mean, we have outlets in DLF, Gurgaon. We have it in Netaji Subhas Nagar, Malviya Nagar. We are having one in Noida as well. Okay. So what we have done is through test and trial, we have seen that almost in every place it fits in. So the menu can be tailored, the format can be made smaller, bigger, what kind of menu, the menu is so elaborate, somebody wants to keep a limited menu and things, all can be done. That's not an issue at all. So if you have a place, a site is there, we can tailor the whole concept which suits in the consumer profile for that place. So will not be an issue. So when I talk of high street markets, we talk of business park, we talk of food court, we talk of airports, we talk of malls, standalone, on high street, everywhere this fits in. So this is something where we'll not face a challenge that, okay, we have to go into a mall or we have to go into airports. Is nothing. Okay, next.
So there is something which I missed to discuss initially, because there are few things which we want to, because since we are sitting at a North India, which is basically now going to be, very heavily, freaking cold now, right? So now people must be thinking during this cold, winter, nearby coming winter season, why we are discussing about Scuzo. Okay, so one experience which I'm going to share with you all, because we started the first like Scuzo in November 2020. Okay, the first Scuzo store was started in November 2020. And then if I'll share my experience with you guys, basically the Scuzo is something where I never thought to keep the only cold product. As I said, I never wanted to make a basically ice cream parlor. I wanted to make a dessert parlor, right? Where we do have an option of a hot and cold desserts, everything, whatever the sweet is basically. So that was the whole idea behind it. And during the cold winters, we started the first store and we had a very, very good response over there. Okay, the reason why, because I felt more confident about it when people ask me exactly, the success story behind it. Basically, the success story, what is that I say always that I started this concept during winters, right? During winters, I started. Now, I compared the every business growth like within the winters and the summers. So the reason behind, because during the moment when I started in the winter, so I thought let us come up with an idea, because I saw no dessert parlor, no ice cream parlors are keeping basically any hot beverage options with them, right? So I started in this basically the entire concept, we kept an option of a coffee machine inside it, which is basically beans to coffee, right? So beans to dip, basically now we have started keeping a very nice compact coffee machine over there. And then we initiated, we kept some sort of donuts, which where we were serving hot donuts along with a coffee. So we came up with an idea, and then a lot of offers where coffee can go good with donuts basically. So we kept donut options as well as the coffee options also inside there. So and then store did absolutely fantastic. But that too, again, in spite of that, having a winter, during the winters, I saw my coffee business was having almost 15 to 20% of menu mix, whereas my maximum business I was getting it from my cold gelato options and other options. So I felt confident is a gelato as a gelato option, basically gelato concept, or this entire dessert parlor concept, it can do well in during winters as well as the summer. So overall, it is basically all 12 months business basically. So you don't need to worry exactly about whether the winters are coming, so this is not a right time to start this business, because we have the success story behind it, and we have this proven track record of that whole basically. So please.
Exactly. So basically, what Gagan is trying to say, and I think is very clear on that, is though our primary product is gelato, but we want to create this more as a dessert brand. So it, all across 12 months, we can give products to consumers where they would like it all across 12 months, which is whether it is summer or winter. I mean, lately, one of the desserts which we are getting created in the R&D kitchen is the kunafa, which is, a Middle East dessert, which goes very well during winter. So once that comes, probably that would be one of the top selling products in our brand also in Scuzo. Okay. So now going to the next slide, which is our presence, operational parlors pan India. This is also what has motivated us a lot. Initially when we started, just, before the lockdown, we were very skeptical, thinking, how is it going to move? Will people start investing and everything? So we had Supermart, we had Netaji, Subhash Nagar, Malviya Nagar, and Clio County in Noida. And after the lockdown, the upcoming parlors, if you say, this had come just within a span of few months. And the best part about this is, the investors also do not have to look for sites. We have already selected a lot of sites. Like we have already, spoken to DLF, like in Mall of India, you talk of Cyber Hub, you talk of, in the DLF areas. So we have already selected and they're ready to give us a site. So we get an investor. If investor says, okay, fine, I'm ready to invest, you select a site for us and we will invest, we are okay to give them site. M3M, we have almost taken up 37 sites from M3M, okay, in different locations. Some are immediate opening, some are futuristic, which can expand for 1.5 years. Okay, so these are the sites which is readily available. We have somebody who wants to take the franchisee, we just call them, they invest, and we create outlets in these places. So currently we are in talks with Lucknow Airport Metro, Mall of India, Noida, okay, Cyber Hub, M3M, Ambience Mall. Then in Gujarat, we have Limdi, and in Chandigarh as well. In fact, Chandigarh, we have signed up today itself for a concept. Okay. Anything else, Gagan, you want to add to this?
Apart with the, as we said, the Lucknow Airport Metro, that was the first one, like, the moment when I started this Netaji's birthplace. Before that itself, I was in talk with this Lucknow Airport people. And then since there's a company called Bird Group, which they are coming up with an complete food court out, at Lucknow Airport Metro, just outside of the Lucknow International Airport. And because since there is no options to let people go in and wait inside the airport, so they made it very nice food court over there. So we had already made a very nice parlor. We allocated this location long back actually, and then half of the work is already been done. So we will come up with that store soon. And then apart from it, we do have other stores, which is as I said, the Mall of India, which is an upcoming store. And then we do have M3M, which already discussed. Like, we do have almost 37 sites of M3M, which is already upcoming stores are there. So we do have a Cyber Hub, which is already signed, and then which is coming up the store. And then Ambience Mall is we are going to start it probably by next month. We'll start the Ambience Mall store also. So Chandigarh already signed. Limdi is already constructed. Everything is ready to because due to pandemic, the few store the construction and everything got delayed. But yes, if you will see the growth, basically, like, we started in November 2020. After that, all we were just going, the entire world was going through the whole all pandemic situation. But that too, again, the growth which we saw basically immediately after opening up the first store in Delhi, we got almost the query from the multiple locations, right? And then we opened up the second store in Malvi Nagar. The third store is basically in Supermart 1, Gurgaon, and the Clio County, which is again basically under construction right now. So probably by next month we will open that store also. So this is something which I personally see a very good growth, because if I'll talk about in the first year of time, in spite of we had a target of opening up at least 10 stores in first year, but somehow the thing were not moving through in a positive side. So things got delayed. But yes, the growth is huge. Basically, overall the growth is huge. And then I see a very good opportunity as a business entrepreneur, because later on during this pandemic, a lot of people they were looking for a good options of a business, basically lesser investment. At that time, they have a very good option, because a lot of people they are very fond of they want to enter into a F&B venture. So I won't name any brand, I won't name any concept, basically. But yes, this is something which everybody, like, whether it's a household lady, whether it's a guy who's just recently, because at present the scenario which I'll say, like, most of the franchise, whether they are from finance background, whether they are from IT background, or they were the homemaker ladies, basically, and they are they're really enjoying, which I have already mentioned in my first slide, that my basically my business partners, my franchise owners are my business ambassadors. Okay, they are the one who talks about the brand, basically. So it's not like I can just explain about my brand, but yes, the feedback which you can get, that is always throughout with our franchise partners. Definitely you will get that. All right. Yeah.
Okay, this slide is very important. I mean, generally, when most of the time you will find people who are from non-F&B and they come into F&B. And of course, as we all know, F&B is not an easy business to handle compared to other retail. Of course, everywhere there are challenges, but F&B is an area where, you have multiple departments which has to focus to make a brand build. And this is what we are, expert at. I would say even in the F&B line, Scuzo as a brand, cuts an edge over the others on this. Where we talk of marketing, we have a marketing team, we have a IT marketing head who heads the marketing. Of course, with Franchisee India now, partnering with us, with their support in terms of franchisee support, they would help us to grow this brand in terms of franchising, the brand building, the training. We have a training department. All the SOPs created, they will go operationally, set up the outlet, operational guidance, which is, of course, giving them the brand manuals, the SOP manuals, project management. We have an internal project team, right from designing to execution. We will give you all the support. HR management, we have an internal HR team who from, you can say even getting the new team, to getting them trained and then placing them under the hands of the franchises, that would be their responsibilities. Vendor management, we have a very strong supply chain management team. And of course, the operational supply chain, which will come under supply chain. So everybody here who is working with this brand, the minimum experience a person has is nothing less than about 13 years. So you can imagine the strength of the people. So people ranging from, let's say 25, 30 years of experience till about 15 to 13 years of experience. That is kind of team we have. Okay, so you will get a solution, you can say A to Z solution to support this brand.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
So since I'm into a franchising industry from last many years, so what I personally understood while taking a franchise, because usually I see, why people enter into a franchise mode. People can opt for, they can open up their own brand, they can start something of their own. But in spite of that, they always want to go with a brand where they can get the support. Support is something which is basically a key factor of getting any business, basically, So what happens today in today's era, basically anybody, as I said, our most of the franchise partners, they are basically either from finance background, they are either from the IT background or the homemakers, basically. Okay, but they were not having any ideas about the F&B concept or anything like that. So they always want some eyes, ear, and who can look after their business, and then who can teach them, you can exactly about teach them every lesson of this business, how it works, basically. Because everybody is fond of, they want F&B concept, but they exactly don't know how, because everybody has seen the business basically from outside as a consumer. Okay, nobody has been witnessed as an internal person of that team. All right, so how it works, basically. So when it starts from by while taking a brand, so we are giving you almost 360-degree support, right? 360-degree support, that means basically from the initial startup, which I said that the location is one of the key factor, from the site selection to the store launch. And then during this, there are a lot of day-to-day operations which are involved into it, whether it is basically a project, vendor management of your day-to-day supply chain management, whether it's your day-to-day training management, HR management, anything like that. So wherever you guys are stuck, so we are going to give you almost 360-degree support. So our team is been, they are dedicated for the same thing to do. Right now, whenever our any franchise is coming up with with having a no idea into this industry, we are going to give them a complete support, like end-to-end. We say end-to-end support, that means end-to-end support is a 360-degree support, whether you don't have any. So the first thing first, always we will let people do it. We always let our franchise team to get franchise partners to get trained about the business, basically. So we provide them initial training, which includes their theoretical classroom training to their practical training at the store. So while signing up any franchise, they have to go through almost 3 days session of a training, where they will understand, they will get the in-depth knowledge about how basically the entire business works. And then after that, our team is there who will give them a complete day-to-day supports about the business.
Right. Okay, the next slide speaks about the marketing things, which we do it across all stores. And I think this is one of the initiatives which we are taking, and we never compromise on this. And that is one of the reasons, this brand is growing up, and we can see the sales and profitability coming. Okay, so, and this is a non-negotiable for us, which we 100% do. And that is one of the reasons we have put this in the whole presentation, which is, the facade signage, social media post, menu flyer, outdoor branding, tabletops, in-store branding, the newspaper insertions and flyer distributions, discount coupons, flat discount for first 100 customers, free sampling and tasting, social media promotion, bloggers, geo-tagging, promotions with online aggregators. So these are just few. In fact, move out of this, we tie up with marketing agencies. They come up with, keeps tracking the consumer, ensuring that the consumers, the customers' reputations increases. Okay, so we do all kind of things and try to support and grow this brand up. So once the brand is taken by somebody, it doesn't mean that it becomes his responsibility, but it is also a responsibility. We keep tracking how the consumer trend is moving in that particular store, how are their eating habits moving. We suggest them what promotions they have to do, what are the new items they can do, where they should focus, whether it is training related, suggestive selling related, or increase their marketing budget to ensure more footfall. Everything is taken care by a dedicated team.
So in spite of that, I also, apart from it, like all these, as Subodh said about, the marketing plans which we do. So we have thought of doing a lot of other marketing activities. As you said that we will be, we are already having a marketing agency who's already, doing a lot of marketing activities for us. Apart from it, there is something which I saw, these days, basically the OTT apps are doing absolutely fantastic. So we are coming up with an idea like where we will be running sort of, small promotions in the OTT apps also, whether it is in Hotstar, whether it's in Amazon Prime, sort of all those. So this is something where people, so at current, like, it was an early stage when people were doing hoardings and everything. To be very honest, if I'll say, because this is something this is basically a retail business, right? So where I can't say exactly in retail business by putting hoarding you will get a very good response of it, but yes, awareness is something which is very important, right? So if I'm opening up a store, let's say in DLF phase 4, and then I'm letting people aware exactly about Manesar, doesn't make sense. So but still we do have that success story that people are all the way coming from Manesar to have their popsicles at our store. But yes, like our maximum consumers, the maximum footfalls or maximum delivery business which we are getting within that 3 kilometers of radius. So we have to, let that 3 kilometers of radius there, the consumers over there, we have to let them get aware exactly about the business, So for them, actually, we are coming up with a lot of, sort of promotions, which includes multiple things and all. And then things are with all support of you all, with the franchise partners, definitely we'll do more and more promotions in future as well.
So this is a
yeah, please.
Yes, Gagan, go ahead.
So this is something which initially I started. This is our product like the portfolio where you see exactly the start from like the popsicles, gelatos, and the fruit popsicles as well as the wafers, milkshakes. We have the best thing is recently in the moment when we started this business, so we thought to come up with an idea where you see the small heart shape, the baby say this kind of ideas. We got it from I was, because there was a wedding in I attended a wedding basically where I saw it was like they were having an ice cream but not having a very good options of ice cream. So we connected with a lot of people like wedding planners and all those people like event planners. And then we started serving our ice creams over there, the small popsicles, sort of mini popsicles we came up with, which we started serving over there during the weddings and everything. So we got a very good response over there. People, they really like the overall concept of it. So this is the whole like a product portfolio. Apart from this, there's just a limited options of it, since I was not able to show you the entire range of the product into this. And one slide was definitely apart from, we do have almost 200 varieties of the products which are already there inside the store. So going forward, I'll just give you a look and feel of the parlor, how it looks like basically. So this is like one of our store there in Gurgaon basically. So this is basically, as I said initially, like this is one of our the first store which you see exactly in the left on top. And that is basically the store which is there in Gurgaon. So this is one of the standard parlor we have. The second store which you see, this is basically Netaji Subhash Place. That was the first store which we opened. And the third store which you see exactly the smaller, the left bottom, that is basically a shopping shop which I was discussing with you. That was inside it's in the Malvi Nagar store. And then we are coming up with a full store also, which is basically, which includes some sort of sittings inside, which is coming up in the Noida. So there are a lot of other options are there. So this is basically a parlor look and feel. And if you see by looking at the ambience, looking at the the signage, and you will understand exactly what we had discussed earlier, right? Like this is something, the branding is something which is our core. The marketing is something which is related to people can see, because people enter inside the store by looking at your signages, right? So if your signage is well visible, it is, well displayed, everything in the store looks nice from outside, people come in, because the first time, consumers, they always look at these things first. Okay, then while coming in, they look at the product quality and everything. So usually there are three things which is very, very much important in this business, basically, which is basically your service and ambience, product quality, and value for money. So this Scuzo is a combo of all of this. So this is the whole story behind the Scuzo, basically. So I'll just give you a glimpse of our innovative menu, which includes, like, I started this with Remember Childhood, as I said, my initial conversation, that this whole idea came from my childhood itself, that I was having, varieties of different. So this is sort of, chuski wala ice cream, initially, which we were eating, the Remember Childhood. The initial range starts from 69 rupees onwards, 69 to, we have almost 300 rupees menu also. So this is basically initial range of Remember Childhood. Then we do have a kulfi, which is rabri kulfi, kesar kulfi, dry fruit kulfi. Then again, we'll talk about fruit press. This is something of very, very, hot selling cake, basically. So this is something which we are selling a lot about it. We do have a lot of, a success story about, people can, the consumer story, they will say about, we do have our, jamun is one of our best, basically. So we do have masaledar amrud, the masala jamun, chatpata jamun, basically. That is something which is our most moving popsicle, which everybody liked it. So this is we do have all, many varieties of popsicles into it. Apart from it, if you will see, basically, we do hold the gelato in a stick, basically. Now people, everybody, they had gelato in their cups, but now we have an option to gelato in a stick also. So we do have this hold the gelato in a sticks options also, as well as we do have all gelato in a cups also, where we have a starter zone, we have a frozen yogurt, we have a fun zone, we have a royal zone as well, the premium things. We do have classic milkshakes, fruity milkshakes, thick milkshakes, and then we do have donuts, we do have churros, we do have ice cream burgers, we do have kunafa, we do have waffles, hot beverage. In that we have a cappuccino, varieties of different coffees as well. We are coming up with a very nice hot chocolates as well. We do have pancakes, the American pancakes, which I said. So we do have a sundaes. The sundaes are very nice. Okay, you will love that. We do have varieties of sundaes. And then apart from, we do have a faluda, which is, again, when I said about the initial range, which the business, the whole idea came from Desi national things and all. So Desi, something which I cannot forget, right? So we came up with an idea where we will be keeping with national and international both ranges, right? So we will be coming up with the more ideas also, since I'm like, traveling around everywhere. So I see more, many ideas, I always get many ideas about it. So we will do a lot of add-ons in our menu day, time to time. Along with it, the menu, this is something which is going to be a fixed menu. Apart from it, we are coming up with a lot of seasonal menus as well. Like, let's say during the Holi, we came up with an idea where we launched the Thandai, and during the Christmas, we came up with some varieties of different new, seasonal products as well. So we, with the seasons, we come up with something different varieties of products. Now, if you think exactly, by keeping, we don't relate when I'll talk about the supply chain things and all, we always, the 99% product comes from the brand. So where you get assured exactly about the product quality, about the product pricing, everything into it, basically. Why we have, just to keep the uniformity, we don't use the fresh fruits, the regular fruits, basically. So we are using the fresh fruits which is in the frozen format, basically. The frozen format, why? Because just to keep the uniformity, like today, if you're going to buy a fresh fruit today, you're buying mango from outside, which is, today is sweet, but another day it's sour, right? It will, it won't give you the uniformity in terms of product quality. Just to keep the same thing always, we have always ensured that we will be getting the similar product, like all the time, from our, one dedicated vendor. And from there, we are supplying it to your store as well. So that you are here, almost, you are doing your business hurdle free, where you don't need to think about, except buying milk from outside, you are not buying anything. Right, so you are completely tension free, that okay, you need to worry about your product or anything like that. Everything is being supplied from the brand, right? So this is the best thing is in this brand, basically. So
Great.
yeah, you want to say something, sir?
No, that's fine. I think you explained everything. So
Great. So thank you so much, Gagan. Thank you, Subrata ji. I feel this was a very extensive,
Thank you.
presentation. Friends, I'll request if there's any question that you have on the business or the locations that you're looking for, please use the Q&A that you see on your screen and we'll take up your questions. And, my first question would be, Gagan, anybody who wants to take it up, Subrata ji. We've talked about the investment and we're talking about two models, which is 16 to about 14 plus 16. There are two models, 14 lakhs and 16 lakh model. If I want to understand a little bit, on the operating expenses also, would you want to comment typically what kind of expenses, and would you want to give some understanding on also the rentals? Because I see the mix of locations that we have high street, we have malls, and we also have, locations which are tier 2 locations also, while the cities are places like Delhi. So if with some examples of kind of rentals which are existing, the kind of food cost which is involved, would you want to comment on what kind of expenses would it entail, considering that we're running about 4 outlets already?
Yeah, so at currently the moment when we started this venture, we thought to go for the almost the premium locations, basically, where we took a location which is not basically more than 150 square feet. So we considered the best rental, right? So the range of the rentals which we thought to start this business is very good, from the 60 to 1 lakh rupees, right? 60,000 to 1 lakh, because see, this is something which is a premium product. I won't go into a smaller rental place where, I mean, I don't see the major crowd over there. So the ideal location which I initially discussed, either it has to be a good marketplace where, such as in the Gurgaon, we do have a lot of good marketplaces. In Delhi, we do have a lot of good marketplaces. So either in the malls, basically, malls can be either the atrium places or can be a food courts, right? So the rental, which is ideal rental for such locations, is basically from 60 to 1 lakh, between that.
Would you want to give some examples of typically, looking from the mall perspective, what is the spectrum of rentals? If you look at high street location, what is the spectrum of rentals? And also corresponding to that, what kind of sales projections, can we look at? Because I also understand if we have a big captive area or an audience where we bring in, while the rentals would be higher, but proportionately our sales would also increase. So would you want to share some example of what we're doing in these couple of locations that we're currently running? Yeah.
So so initially, if I'll say, like, at current, like, we do have one location there in Gurgaon where we are paying a rental of around 75,000 rupees. Yeah, I mean, there we were expecting, we are expecting a sales, which we are doing currently, like, from the day, as I said, the success story came from my franchise partners itself. The initially we started with the sales of, like, 15,000 a day. Okay, the first 3 months we did a sales of, like, first 2 months initially we did a 15,000 of day sales, and after this pandemic came, and then immediately, but at current, which we are doing over there, that we are doing a 20,000 rupees of average daily sales, where our franchise partner is taking us almost 30% of total revenue, in spite of paying that 75,000 of rental. So he is making almost 1 to 1.5 lakh a month, after paying his entire overall cost, basically. So the ideal, in basically, when I suggest somebody to go for, when they go to high street market, basically high street market, the rental should be between 60 to 80,000, whereas when they go to mall, so it can go up to 80 to 1.25, like that. So mall has a more, more footfalls into it, because since our basically the average ticket size, which is basically 250 to 300 rupees, right? So 250 to 300 rupees, where we need to do a transactions of, like, hardly when I'll talk about this, like 60 to 70 transactions a day. And since this is a such product which people are grabbing immediately and moving out, right? So let's say if somebody is moving forward there, they are coming in a group, and then they are buying 3-4 popsicles, so easily we get the average check of almost 4 to 500 rupees in that, where just to just keep it in average, we can we do always have a like average check of 300 rupees per. So I mean, while going into mall, they need to do a business of somewhere around 6 to 7 lakh rupees a month, whereas in a high street it is required 5 to 6 lakh rupees a month. So which is an ideal, because this is something where they don't need to cook anything, they don't need to do anything, everything, and this is very, very quick service. Basically, the one transaction can finish, the turnover of one transaction is hardly 2 minutes, right? So within 2 minutes they are finishing one transaction. They can have a multiple transactions in a day, basically. So that's the whole Thank you. Jay.
So what we are saying is, almost about 22% would be our rental component in our expenses. 8% is what we're taking towards royalties. And what would be the average for the entire food cost? Because I see, milkshake as a category, we have popsicles, we have ice creams, we have also some items from the bakery. So all put together, typically what becomes our food cost across blended food cost?
So this is something we have made certain differences as compared to while going to the ice cream parlors and everything. Like, I see like most of the people, they are working either on like, the 50% of food cost, where they are keeping their, the product, they are selling it to their franchise, and 50%, where I have made certain tweak into it, since I am into a, F&B industry. It's been a long time I'm into F&B industry. I thought to make it some differences, where we have made the entire range of our food cost, which is coming up at with the current menu mix, which we are getting. That's a 30% overall. 30%
With packaging.
Including
With
packaging.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So 30% basically, which includes the packaging and the local freight as well. Right. So
Right.
overall, a franchise is getting a 70% of gross profit. Out of that, they are managing the other expenses. And this is something where we work with a very minimal manpower. Basically, the minimum manpower, which I say at one particular store, 3% is good to handle the store of a business of 6 to 8 lakh rupees of business. Right. So 6 to 8 lakh
Right.
rupees of business can be handled by 3% at one store. And this is something where I always wanted my franchise partners to also get involved into it. And they are putting themselves into it also. And they are coming out with the best, because since, if I'll say about the current, operations right now. So we do have like each store has a 200 dedicated consumers who comes like, more often every alternate day at the store. Right. And then we do have a lot of such consumers who comes every day, like all gym goers these days. Because I mean, a few days back I was standing at one of our store, where I saw a guy came and had 3 popsicles in one time. He finished one popsicle and bought another one, all those fruit popsicles. The moment when I asked him why you are eating like too much of popsicle at one go, he said that my gym trainer has suggested me to intake more fruits and liquid. So this is the best option, best place which I have found so far. Right. So I mean, this is something which I found is this can be a very good, I mean, this is one healthier option also, where the gym goers also are coming at our store and having this. So during this, in fact, while I'll say exactly, during one time during this pandemic, the lockdown happened. Delhi was like completely locked down. So anybody who was coming entering inside the Delhi to Gurgaon, they needed like basically the e-pass basically to enter inside Gurgaon. One of our consumer who was the regular customer of our Netaji's Vast Play store, traveling all around from Delhi to Gurgaon to have his popsicles every day like this. So he made e-pass especially to have that popsicle. This is something where I saw, I felt more confident, like this product can do very good. So basically the current average check which I was discussing initially is going 300 rupees, which is a very, good basically ratio of the business basically.
So our objective is to keep, at least in the EBITDA about 25%, but nothing less than 20%. This is how we are creating the business model. So, ultimately it's the bottom line where, of course, we are focusing on a 25% target with an EBITDA. Yeah.
And what kind of seasonal trends? I understand you've been running, you're a young company, about 10 months since the first outlet actually came in. Have you seen, especially for a market like North India, which also has winter season, which is about 2 or 3 months? So what are the seasonal trends that you have seen, and what is the impact of that particular season on the business?
Okay, so now, frankly speaking, it would be too early for us to say, because we started this in the end of 2020. Okay, so we had only 2 months, and of course that was seasonal, which is December and January. And after that, there was a COVID. What I personally believe is, especially after this COVID, more than market survey or the trend which happened prior to 2020, it is now completely what our experience is. So we have been watching the market and everything. As I told you earlier, whatever is the seasonal, today I cannot compare what happened 2 years back or during pandemic. Our objective is to how to make this business sustainable. And that will come only through innovation. If you look at the products, which is apart from cold, as we said, we don't want to make it a brand which will say, oh, it's a gelato brand. No, it's a dessert brand. So if it is winter, we want to keep the amount of sales almost the same during summer and winter. And that will come only through product innovation, which we are currently doing. So yes, of course, people come to us saying that it's a gelato brand. The summer sales obviously are going to be a little higher, that a store should do on a 20,000 sale on a daily basis, average daily sale across the year. That should be our target. If it goes down or up, it becomes our responsibility to ensure we get in products which actually enhances the sale up.
Sure. And what are the markets we are looking at? Are we focusing primarily NCR and Tri-City, or we are going even beyond these two locations?
Currently, I would say, yes, our focus would be Delhi, NCR and the northern region. Just why I'm telling you, because of since 90% of the product, not 90, in fact, I would say 95+% of the product are created in the central kitchen. We want to cater this area. But yes, if somebody is planning to take a regional franchisee and all those, we can give them at a cost where we can create a central commissary there and deliver the product. But yes, if somebody is looking for a single unit, we would prefer it should be more towards the northern region, so it becomes easy for us to cater. Otherwise, a 5-unit plus who is ready to do it immediately, we can create a commissary for them, give them a regional franchisee, and they can move ahead. So the options are open throughout India. In fact, we are also in talks with, abroad if we can get franchises.
Sure. And friends, I will request all of you, there are quite a number of outlets which are, I would say, evenly spread across Delhi NCR, and also many more locations which are coming, about 7 more locations which are coming up shortly. And if you're keen to look at, and I'm sure some of these locations you might have already visited, these are some of the premium spots of NCR. We'll request that we bring all of you on a discovery day that we are holding in the coming week, and we could help with maybe a tour of the current outlets, or maybe a one-to-one meeting which can happen over a call, or maybe a meeting which can happen in person. And that is what I would recommend all of you to experience the product before you take a decision. And I think one last thing, Subrataji, because see, we have good locations already where we are coming up. Will there be any kind of location support for a franchise partner when he comes on board, or are there any locations available at the time being which can be offered to a partner?
Yes, we have, as I told initially, that we have almost tied up 37 units of M3M across different locations. We have places where we have spoken with DLF, like Cyber Hub is open, where one of our franchisees are planning to come. We have Mall of India. So we have tied up with a lot of people. So if any franchisee feels that I want to invest in this concept, but I don't have a location, we can help them out with those locations.
Sure, very helpful, Subrataji. And friends, thank you for being with us. And as we close, I'll request a last message from both of you, Gagan, you also, and Subrataji, any message that you have for the audience that is listening live and also on the webinar.
I would say exactly. Thank you for joining this webinar and listening to us, since I came up with a lot of ideas with this, and I shared all the ideas with you all. So basically, our prime target, as initially discussed, our prime target is we are looking for a unit franchise, plus for the pan India expansion, we are looking for a master franchisee. So those who are interested for a master franchise is a very good business opportunity, where we are just not limited to one particular thing from the store. We are coming up with direct to D2H concept also. We are coming up with a lot of FMCG products. So we'll come up with where you can display your products at the retail stores as well. Okay, so this is some option where we are giving it to only the master franchise who can do this, basically, who is taking a master franchise, because we will be setting up sort of commissaries for master franchise, which initially that is basically investment plan of a master franchise as well. So it's a very good business option, whether you see exactly during the winters or during the summers. So for all seasons, this is around 360 degree of the best brand to choose about. If somebody has really interest in moving forward with the dessert brand options, this is one of the best, which I can, definitely suggest you to go ahead with it. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And
Thank you.
we'll look forward
Thank
to,
you. Yep.
Thank you, friends, for being with us.
Thank you.
And like I mentioned, you can reach out to us on the hotline number of Franchise India, and we'll connect you with the team and get a tour or a meeting organized in the coming week. Can I request you, Ashna, to kindly take it up from here, please?
Sure. So thank you so much, Gagan. Thank you so much, Subrata. Thank you so much, Sonia ma'am, for joining in today. We would like to thank all our dear participants for joining in today. Please do reach out to us at our business hotline number, which is 9717683838. We also request you to please connect with us at different social handles. We are available at Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. Connect with Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am at their LinkedIn ID to get more information about different business opportunities, about different industries. So please join them at the LinkedIn platform. And as we always say that we are there to help you with the maximum digital and physical events in upcoming slides. You will see the kind of the webinars as well as physical events we have organized for you. So today we are inviting you to join us for our Kerala chapter under Bharat Franchise Show. This is a show specifically designed where we are bringing multi business opportunities for you. We are inviting 5 top brands, founders, and leadership team to digitally interact with you. Do a registration, which is free of cost for everyone. Just go to our Facebook page where we have shared the link. Do yourself register for this particular webinar and join us today, 7 p.m. for Bharat Franchise Show. And tomorrow we are inviting you, if you come from Bombay, we are inviting you to join us for our physical show, which is happening in Marriott Mumbai International Airport. That's the location. Timing is 10 to 6 p.m. We have invited 20 big companies to physically for physical meet with you. So please join us tomorrow 10 p.m. for physical meeting, and tomorrow under our digital show 12 p.m. we are bringing the 3 top FOCO based model under RY show: Mission Sports, Navavision, and the Glam Factory. These are the brands offering franchisee invested company operated business model. So for these shows, please do registration. Do your registration with us at our business hotline number or Facebook page. Thank you once again for joining in today. Have a safe day. Thank you so much.